Some teams win World Cups with magic. Others win them by refusing to lose. The Netherlands have produced more world-class footballers per generation than almost any nation on Earth, and yet, somehow, the trophy has never once made it home. Sweden don't produce magic. They produce headaches. Ask Italy. Ask England. Ask any so-called bigger nation that walked into a Sweden game expecting an easy night and walked out with a draw they didn't see coming. So here's the real question heading into this one. Can Dutch creativity break a system that's built, brick by brick, to never break? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly who has the edge, and where this game is actually going to be won and lost. Welcome back to Football Kick Theory, the channel where we break football down to the science behind the spectacle. Today we're diving into Netherlands versus Sweden at the FIFA World Cup 2026, and this one matters a lot more than a standard group game. This result could decide who tops the group, who avoids a brutal round of 16 draw, and who's still dreaming come the knockouts. On paper, this looks simple. Dutch flair against Swedish steel. But football's never that simple, and this matchup is exactly the kind of tactical puzzle this channel was built to solve. Before we get into it, if you're new here, this is where we turn match previews into proper tactical breakdowns, not just predictions. Hit subscribe now because we're covering every single World Cup fixture this tournament, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Now, let's get into it. Team form analysis. Netherlands, the quiet favorites. The Dutch arrive in this tournament carrying real expectation, and for once, it doesn't feel misplaced. This is a Netherlands side that has spent years rebuilding, blending battle-tested leaders with a new generation that might be the most talented this country has produced since the days of Cruyff's total football. Three things stand out about this team right now. First, they dominate the ball. This isn't possession for the sake of it. The Dutch build patiently from the back, manipulate space, and wait for the right moment to strike. Second, they're tactically flexible. Back three, back four, it doesn't matter. They adjust to the opponent in front of them, rather than forcing one system onto everyone. Third, and this is the big one, they're no longer just an attacking team. With elite defensive leadership marshalling the back line, the Netherlands have finally found balance to match their flair. But it's not all good news. Against teams that sit deep and compact, teams exactly like Sweden, the Dutch have at times looked predictable. When the space between the lines disappears, so does some of their fluency. And when they commit numbers forward, they've shown real vulnerability to the counter. Momentum is on their side. Many analysts already see them as genuine dark horses for the title. The question is whether that flair can unlock a defense built specifically to stop it. Sweden, the team nobody wants to play. If you've followed international football for any length of time, you already know the Sweden formula, because it almost never changes. And that's exactly the point. Sweden are one of the most disciplined, structurally sound teams in this entire tournament. They are organized in a way that's almost suffocating for opponents. Every player knows their job. The lines stay compact. The work rate never drops. Their biggest strength isn't a superstar. It's the collective. While other nations build around individual brilliance, Sweden build around trust in the system. Defensively, they're a nightmare to break down, and on the counter, they're lethal. But there are cracks. When Sweden are forced to create, when they have to dominate the ball instead of sitting and waiting, their attacking output can dry up fast. Against the very best technical sides, holding defensive concentration for the full 90 minutes becomes a serious test of discipline and fitness. Still, don't mistake underdog for easy. Sweden have built an entire international reputation on shocking bigger, more talented teams. They will absolutely believe they can do it again here. Key players to watch. Netherlands. Virgil van Dijk remains the heartbeat of this Dutch defense. His reading of the game, his aerial command, his composure under pressure. Against Sweden's physical front line, his leadership could be the difference between control and chaos. Frenkie de Jong is the engine. Everything flows through him. If de Jong dictates tempo, the Netherlands dictate the match. Xavi Simons is the wild card. Unpredictable, technically gifted, capable of unlocking a compact defense with a single moment of inspiration. Cody Gakpo brings proven big-stage quality, versatile enough to hurt Sweden from the center or from the flank. Sweden. Alexander Isak is the obvious headline. Pace, technique, ice-cold finishing. He's the kind of player who needs just one half chance to change an entire match. Dejan Kulusevski offers something different. Direct, fearless ball carrying that can drag defenders out of position in an instant. Virgil has been one of the most ruthless finishers in European football in recent seasons, and he gives Sweden a genuine focal point up top. Victor Lindelof anchors the back line, experienced, composed, and absolutely critical to keeping this defense organized against elite Dutch attackers. If you're enjoying the breakdown so far, this is exactly the kind of analysis we put out for every World Cup matchup. So go ahead and subscribe now, because the tactical battle is where this game is really going to be decided, and we're about to get into it. Tactical battle. The possession battle. Expect the Netherlands to control somewhere around 60% of the ball, patiently probing for cracks in Sweden's shape. Sweden, in turn, will be perfectly comfortable without it, happy to sit, stay compact, and force the Dutch wide. Pressing styles. The Dutch will press high and aggressively, hunting turnovers in dangerous areas. Sweden play a smarter, more selective press, picking specific triggers and moments rather than chasing the ball all game. It conserves energy, it protects shape, and it's exactly why they're so hard to break. The counterattack threat. This might be Sweden's single biggest weapon in this match. If the Dutch overcommit numbers forward, the space behind them becomes a highway, and with Isak and Kulusevski's pace, that's a terrifying proposition for any backline. The midfield war. This could decide everything. If Jong finds rhythm and space, the Dutch attack flows freely. If Sweden's midfield unit disrupts him, crowds him, cuts his passing lanes, this game suddenly becomes a lot more even. Set pieces. Don't sleep on this. Sweden have long been a dangerous set-piece side, and the Dutch possess real aerial threats of their own. Dead ball situations could easily swing the result. Head-to-head history. Historically, these two nations have produced tight, tactically fascinating contests. The Netherlands generally hold the stronger overall record, but Sweden have repeatedly made life uncomfortable through sheer defensive discipline. Many of their past meetings have come down to fine margins rather than dominant performances, and there's no reason to expect anything different here. Key matchups. Van Dijk versus Isak. Composure and positioning against pace and precision. This duel alone could decide the match. De Jong versus Sweden's midfield block. Can they stop the engine room before it gets going? Gakpo versus Lindelof. Movement and unpredictability tested against experience and reading of the game. Kulusevski versus the Dutch fullbacks. Sweden's most direct route to goal and a real test for the Dutch defensive width. Predicted lineups. Netherlands, predicted 11. Bart Verbruggen, Denzel Dumfries, Stefan de Vrij, Virgil van Dijk, Nathan Ake, Frenkie de Jong, Tijani Reinders, Xavi Simons, Jeremy Frimpong, Memphis Depay, Cody Gakpo. Sweden, predicted 11. Robin Olsen, Emil Holm, Victor Lindelof, Isak Hien, Ludvig Augustinsson, Jens Kajust, Albin Ekdal, Dejan Kulusevski, Emil Forsberg, Alexander Isak, Victor Gyökeres. 3 big questions. 1. Can Sweden's defense survive 90 minutes of sustained Dutch pressure? Chances will come. The real test is concentration, for the entire match, not just the first hour. 2. Can Isak exploit the space behind the Dutch line? Sweden may not need dominance. They might just need one perfect transition. 3. Who wins the midfield battle? If De Jong runs the game, the Netherlands should win comfortably. If Sweden choke that supply line, anything could happen. Score prediction. Weighing form, tactics, squad depth, and the key individual battles, the Netherlands enter as deserved favorites. Their technical quality is higher. Their midfield is stronger. Their defensive leadership is elite. And critically, they have more players capable of producing a moment of brilliance out of nothing. But Sweden won't be overwhelmed. Their discipline alone will keep this competitive, especially in the opening half hour. Eventually, though, Dutch quality should find a way through. Prediction. Netherlands 2-1 Sweden. Goals from Gakpo and Xavi Simons for the Dutch, with Alexander Isak the most likely man to get Sweden on the score sheet. This is exactly the kind of matchup that makes World Cup football unmissable. Possession versus structure. Flair versus discipline. Individual brilliance versus collective organization. The Netherlands look like the stronger, more dangerous side on paper, But Sweden have the tactical identity to make this deeply uncomfortable for 90 minutes. If the Dutch are clinical, they win this clearly. If Sweden stay compact and strike once on the break, an upset is very much alive. Either way, this is set up to be one of the standout fixtures of the entire group stage. And that's our complete tactical breakdown of Netherlands versus Sweden at the FIFA World Cup 2026. Do you agree with our call of a 2-1 Dutch win, or do you think Sweden's discipline pulls off the upset? Drop your score prediction in the comments. I read every single one. If this breakdown helped you see the game differently, do me a favor. Hit subscribe to Football Kick Theory, smash that like button, and turn on notifications, because we're covering every single fixture of this World Cup, match by match, all tournament long. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next breakdown.